Vanakkam, Namaskaram, and a very warm welcome to Sunday Sadhana, your favorite Hindu magazine program on SABC2. The rural hinterland of India has always been a harbinger of ancient traditions that continue to thrive today. For followers of classical dance, we have a feast of Kuchipudi from Andhra Pradesh, and for those more religiously inclined, we look at the role of village folk deities in the state of Tamil Nadu through the book launch of popular radio personality Mala Lakshmanan. Originating in Andhra Pradesh, India, Kuchipudi has won international acclaim for being a unique classical dance form, and Sunday Sadhana recently attended an afternoon of Kuchipudi at the Ashiva Andhra Mahasabha to enjoy this rare dance experience.
Kuchipudi comes from a village called Kuchilapuram in Andhra Pradesh. It is a classical art form. Initially, this art form was performed by males. And thereafter, Siddhendra Yogi, the great master, started to impart this knowledge onto other artists and made sure females were able to experience this art form. We are having a Kuchipudi dance, an afternoon of Kuchipudi dancing. And for the program, we have Pasumati Mrityam Jaya, who has come down from Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh in India. He is going to grace us with this beautiful performance this afternoon. Kuchipudi was last seen in this country some 15.5 years ago by an international artist. And thereafter, we've not had this beautiful experience. And today, we have Pasumati, who is going to be gracing us. The nuances in Kuchipudi dances and the glances are all very strong, unlike the Bharatanatyam, which is very much subtle. So therefore, there are some very subtle differences with Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam. This art form of Kuchipudi was dedicated to the goddess Bala Tirupura Sundari. You will find that even in a dance performance to begin, we pay homage to Bala Tirupura Sundari. And people in time, in the 14th century, in order for them to have a spiritual union with God, this dance form was used as a medium for people to execute this movement and have a spiritual experience. Well, Kuchipudi is a spiritual experience. All of the dances, Siddhendra Yogi himself was a spiritual master. And when he brought this art form down to the people, he wanted the dancer to have a deep inner spiritual meaning and enjoy bliss and togetherness with God. And therefore, this classical art form was not merely for entertainment, but it was a feeling of spiritualness that has to evolve within a person while performing this art form. An art form, I always say to my students, is a dividing line for you to decide whether I should do the good or the bad. And art, I can safely say, having practiced this for 33 years, is definitely a dividing line for you to be a spiritual and a good person.
Welcome back to Sunday Sadhana. Indian folk religion greatly depended on the oral custom of storytelling to pass on the rich social traditions of the time. Following the success of her book, Why Mariamman, Mala Lakshmanan recently released a book of hymns entitled The Mariamman Thalatu that expounds the greatness of Mother Mariamman.
I was always fascinated by the worship of Mariamman in particular, and there were a lot of aspects of the worship that I found no answers to. When I asked people around and they didn't provide me with adequate answers. So I decided that while I was in India, I decided let me use this as an opportunity now to research. I thought that it will be benefit to our people because a lot of the worship surrounding Goddess Mariamman is misunderstood.
When one looks at the Mariamman Thalat, the book that Mala has written about, it is an ancient book, and she has elucidated line by line, giving listeners and Hindus who are interested a very, very vivid account of everything about that Divine Mother, Adi Parashakti, in a glorious manifestation as Muttu Mariamman.
Mariamman is a folk deity and it forms part of folk religion, which is different from mainstream religious traditions. The folk deities are given different names according to the functions they perform or the locality in which they protect.
In South Africa, since the time of indenture, Mariamman worship was prominent, especially during Easter when labourers were put off work. Closely related with the fields and nature, the prayer became deeply rooted in the community. Today, there are various shrines dedicated to Mother Mariamman.
If you look at the worship of Goddess Mariamman, and like I've stated in the book, you find ingredients like turmeric and stringer leaves, etc. are very, very integral to her worship. As Mariamman, she is the protector of people that have smallpox, or she is the one that provides or gives rain. So that's her function.
Over the years, some of our very valuable traditions have been eroded, and we needed to reignite that spark for us to celebrate our uniqueness and our Indian heritage.
The whole idea is to provide meaningful insight into the worship so that it helps people with their spiritual involvement. Secondly, as part of folk religion and as part of folk tradition, all of this has been handed down through word of mouth. And there is the fear that this can be lost through the generations. So my intention is to appraise and record this for future generations as well. The whole idea is to provide meaningful insight into the worship so that it helps people with their spiritual involvement. Secondly, as part of folk religion and as part of folk tradition, all of this has been handed down through word of mouth.
So spiritual reality and India, where the spiritualism is a vibration, is a holy land, it is very important that such type of information is given to the youth.
The present youth don't have that because they're losing their culture. If you have your culture, you know where you are, where you're going to be, and what you want to be.
We cannot expect the youth these days to blindly follow. They are always questioning why we are doing certain things, what is the significance, and they will then follow our scriptures and they will follow our rituals.
The Amman prayer book that Mala's written is going to be very, very helpful for our children to understand.
Indeed, I think this book will be a real welcome read for every South African Hindu.
We hope that you have been inspired by the contents of today's show. Remember, this is the season of Seva, so fill the hearts of those around you with joy by doing your bit. As this year steadily moves towards the next, we hope that 2012 brings you 365 days of love, light and peace for all. From all at Sunday Sadhana, we'd like to wish you a blessed and safe festive season. Om Shanti.
Maheshwara Putra Vigna Vinayaka Pada Namaste Vamana Rupa Maheshwara Putra Vigna Vinayaka Pada Namaste Pada Namaste Pada Namaste Namaste Taka